In the intricate tapestry of life, a silent threat lurks within our ecosystems, disrupting the delicate balance of nature. These unseen invaders, often introduced by human activities, pose a grave danger to the biodiversity and health of our planet. They are known as invasive species, organisms that, when introduced to a new environment, multiply rapidly, outcompete native species, and wreak havoc on ecosystems. Their impact can be devastating, leading to the loss of biodiversity, disruption of ecosystem functions, and even threats to human health and livelihoods. Imagine a lush forest, teeming with a rich tapestry of life. Birds sing from the canopy, insects buzz amongst the flowers, and a myriad of creatures, large and small, call this place home. But this delicate balance is under threat. Invasive species, like stealthy invaders, can quickly dominate an ecosystem, outcompeting native species for resources such as sunlight, water, and nutrients. Picture a vibrant meadow, bursting with wildflowers. Now envision an aggressive invasive plant, spreading rapidly, its roots choking out the native flora. As the invader takes hold, the meadow's diversity dwindles, leaving behind a monotonous landscape. This loss of biodiversity can have cascading effects throughout the ecosystem, impacting everything from pollination to seed dispersal. Consider the plight of a native bird, its nest built amongst the branches of a tree that once thrived in the forest. Now an invasive vine engulfs the tree, suffocating its growth and depriving the bird of its habitat. The bird's food sources may also vanish as the invasive species displaces native plants that once provided sustenance. The consequences of biodiversity loss extend far beyond the individual species affected. Entire ecosystems can become destabilized, impacting the delicate web of life that sustains them. The loss of one species can trigger a chain reaction, leading to the decline of others that depend on it for survival. The introduction of invasive predators can be particularly devastating. Imagine a small mammal native to a remote island, its existence threatened by an invasive predator with no natural enemies in this new environment. The predator's unchecked hunting can decimate the mammal population, pushing it towards the brink of extinction. The loss of biodiversity is a tragedy, not just for the species that vanish, but for the health of our planet as a whole. Each species plays a vital role in maintaining the balance of nature, and their loss diminishes the resilience of ecosystems to withstand environmental changes and other threats. Ecosystems are intricate webs of life, each element interconnected and interdependent. Invasive species, with their aggressive growth and disruptive behaviors, can throw these delicate systems off balance, altering the very fabric of nature. Consider the soil beneath our feet, a living entity teeming with microorganisms and essential nutrients. Certain invasive plants, with their deep roots and rapid growth, can alter the nutrient dynamics of the soil, making it less hospitable for native plants. This can lead to a decline in soil fertility, impacting the growth and survival of other species that depend on it. Imagine a pristine lake, its clear waters reflecting the sky. Now picture an invasive fish species, introduced accidentally or intentionally, disrupting the lake's delicate ecosystem. These invaders may outcompete native fish for food and habitat, leading to a decline in their populations. The impact of invasive species can extend beyond the immediate environment. Some invasive plants, for instance, can alter the flow of water in streams and rivers, affecting the availability of water for other species and increasing the risk of erosion. Others can increase the frequency and intensity of wildfires, further disrupting ecosystems and threatening human settlements. The introduction of invasive insects can have devastating consequences for forests. Imagine a swarm of bark beetles, their tiny bodies carrying a deadly fungus, attacking trees that have stood for centuries. The fungus weakens the trees, making them susceptible to disease and ultimately leading to their demise. Invasive species can also disrupt the delicate balance of pollination. Imagine a native bee, its wings buzzing as it collects pollen from a flower. Now picture an invasive plant, its blossoms attracting the bee but offering no nectar or pollen in return. The bee, deceived by the invader, wastes its energy on a fruitless pursuit, impacting the pollination of native plants. The disruption of ecosystem balance by invasive species is a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of nature. Each species plays a vital role in maintaining the health and stability of ecosystems, and their loss or displacement can have far-reaching consequences. Agriculture, the backbone of human civilization, faces a growing threat from invasive species. These invaders, with their voracious appetites and rapid spread, can decimate crops, impacting agricultural productivity and farmer incomes. Imagine a field of wheat, its golden stalks swaying in the breeze, a symbol of sustenance and prosperity. Now picture a swarm of locusts, their insatiable hunger driving them to devour every plant in their path, leaving behind a barren landscape. This scene, unfortunately, is a reality in many parts of the world where invasive insects pose a significant threat to agriculture. Invasive plants, too, can wreak havoc on farmland. Imagine a vineyard, its vines heavy with grapes, a testament to the hard work of generations of winemakers. Now picture an aggressive invasive weed, its roots spreading rapidly, choking out the grapevines and stealing precious water and nutrients from the soil. The economic consequences of invasive species in agriculture are staggering. Farmers face reduced yields, lower profits, and increased costs for pest control and weed management. In some cases, invasive species can render entire fields unproductive, forcing farmers to abandon their land and livelihoods. The impact extends beyond the farm gate. Consumers face higher food prices and potential shortages as invasive species disrupt supply chains. Governments are forced to allocate significant resources to control and manage these invaders, diverting funds from other essential programs. The threat of invasive species to agriculture is a global concern. As trade and travel increase, so too does the risk of introducing new invaders to vulnerable ecosystems. International cooperation and stringent biosecurity measures are essential to prevent the spread of these harmful organisms. The fight against invasive species in agriculture is a race against time. Farmers, scientists, and policymakers must work together to develop effective strategies to control and manage these invaders, ensuring food security and protecting the livelihoods of millions of people who depend on agriculture. Invasive species pose a growing threat to human health, carrying diseases, triggering allergies, and disrupting the delicate balance of ecosystems that support our well-being. Imagine a mosquito, its tiny body carrying a deadly parasite, its bite transmitting a debilitating disease to an unsuspecting victim. This scenario is a reality in many parts of the world, where invasive mosquitoes spread diseases like malaria, dengue fever, and Zika virus, causing widespread suffering and death. Invasive plants, too, can pose health risks. Imagine a field of ragweed, its pollen carried by the wind, triggering allergies and asthma attacks in those sensitive to its presence. Invasive plants can also alter the habitat of disease-carrying rodents, increasing the risk of human exposure to Lyme disease and other tick-borne illnesses. The impact of invasive species on human health extends beyond direct contact. The disruption of ecosystems by these invaders can lead to a decline in water quality, affecting drinking water supplies and increasing the risk of waterborne diseases. The loss of biodiversity can also impact the availability of medicinal plants, limiting options for treating various ailments. The economic burden of invasive species on healthcare systems is significant. Governments and individuals face increased costs for disease treatment, allergy medication, and other healthcare services. The loss of productivity due to illness caused by invasive species also has broader economic implications. Protecting human health from the threat of invasive species requires a multi-pronged approach. Public health initiatives, such as mosquito control programs and public awareness campaigns, are crucial. Early detection and rapid response to invasive species outbreaks are essential to contain their spread and minimize their impact on human health. The fight against invasive species is a fight for the health of our planet and the well-being of future generations. The economic costs of invasive species are staggering, impacting industries, governments, and individuals on a global scale. These unseen invaders, with their ability to disrupt ecosystems, damage infrastructure, and impact human health, impose a significant financial burden on society. Imagine a cargo ship, its hull encrusted with invasive mussels, its arrival at a port signaling not just the delivery of goods, but the introduction of a costly pest. These mussels, with their rapid growth and ability to clog pipes, can disrupt water treatment plants, power stations, and other critical infrastructure, leading to costly repairs and economic losses. Invasive plants, with their aggressive growth and ability to outcompete native species, can reduce property values, impact tourism, and increase the cost of land management. Imagine a scenic park, its beauty marred by invasive weeds, its trails overgrown and inaccessible, its appeal to visitors diminished. The cost of controlling and managing invasive species is a significant drain on government resources. Millions of dollars are spent annually on eradication programs, research, and public awareness campaigns. These funds, diverted from other essential services, represent a substantial economic burden on taxpayers. The impact of invasive species on businesses is widespread. Farmers face crop losses, fishermen contend with dwindling catches, and tourism operators grapple with the degradation of natural attractions. These economic losses ripple through communities, affecting livelihoods and overall economic prosperity. The true cost of invasive species is difficult to quantify, as their impact extends far beyond direct economic losses. The loss of biodiversity, the disruption of ecosystem services, and the threat to human health all carry significant economic implications, although they are often difficult to measure in monetary terms. Addressing the economic challenge posed by invasive species requires a collaborative approach. Governments, businesses, and individuals must work together to prevent the introduction and spread of these invaders, minimize their impact, and share the cost of control and management efforts. The silent invasion of our ecosystems by invasive species is a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of our planet and the impact of human actions on the natural world. Protecting our future requires a collective effort to understand the threat, prevent the spread, and manage the impact of these invaders. Following environmental regulations, such as inspecting goods for invasive species and avoiding the transportation of exotic plants and animals, is crucial in preventing their introduction. Protecting natural habitats, restoring degraded ecosystems, and promoting biodiversity are essential in strengthening the resilience of our ecosystems against invasive species. Supporting local conservation efforts, participating in citizen science initiatives, and spreading awareness about the threat of invasive species are all valuable contributions to this collective effort. By working together, we can safeguard the biodiversity of our planet, protect the health of our ecosystems, and ensure a sustainable future for generations to come.